Welcome to today's video. So today I'm going to be talking about one of the biggest problems that the fitness industry has, and why this problem has seemed to continue to grow over the last 5 to 10 years. So when I first started in the fitness industry, the first business that I started was in 2013, um, but I was also involved in the sense of exercising and training myself for quite a few years before that. But I've, for most of my adult life, been involved in some way, shape, or form with the fitness industry. And so I've met a lot of people who work in the industry, and I've obviously been around a lot of, the people who influence a lot within the industry and so on. And basically, the fitness industry, a lot of people view as kind of something to do with health. And whilst sometimes that's the case, sometimes the people involved who are being fit, and fitness can correlate quite a lot with health, and there's a big overlap there. But what is often not said is just how much drug use is a part of the fitness industry. And so the problem with this is that a lot of people, probably the majority of people who aren't involved in the industry, who aren't involved heavily, they don't really understand how widespread this problem is. And then as a result, they get a lot of misconceptions around what is possible for themselves when it comes to their own fitness, and their own ability to get results in the gym. So when you log on to your social media or you see gyms around the place, you see these people presenting some sort of fitness knowledge out there. And people look at what they look like. They look at how much muscle mass they're holding and how lean they are and how ripped they are and so on. And they see the advice that they're giving. And then they try this sort of program, or they try some sort of fitness regime, and 6 months into it or a year into it, they're looking absolutely nothing like this individual, and they're not even close to looking like that. And even after many years potentially of training, they're still nowhere near that visual look that a lot of these fitness people have. And so if we cut out drugs from the scene, if we had a fitness industry that didn't have drugs involved, then the size and the look of everything involved in the fitness industry would be remarkably different. And now this isn't to say that you should or shouldn't do drugs. I mean, that's your own personal choice. But when it comes to the outcomes that you can hope to expect from it, the outcomes that you can hope to expect from training in the gym, doing weight training, and so on, when it comes to someone doing this without drugs in their system, without even just testosterone replacement therapy, TRT, the potential gain they can make is just a fraction of what is being portrayed out there in the fitness world. And so to me, this is one of the biggest problems of the fitness industry, because most people won't publicly talk about it. They won't go on their social media, and they won't talk about the fact that they're taking large volumes of drugs. And primarily this is because, well, a lot of them are still illegal depending on what country you're in, but also because they want to give that illusion. They want to sort of show that they've got all these results from their methodology or the products they sell or the supplements that they sell, and having that sort of look in their mind gives them more authority, because they've been able to achieve a certain look, and obviously their methodologies and supplements must be the reason for that, rather than the drugs that they're taking. And so this has continued, and so I've seen this develop since I started in the industry. It was always a big part of it, but it's just getting worse. It's just becoming more and more common, and it's also seeped into mainstream culture and around things like movies. You look at the average male movie person, movie star, whatever you want to call it, these days, you'll see a guy who is carrying more muscle and is more ripped than the vast majority of bodybuilders used to be 50 years ago. And they're just meant to be an average character in some sort of movie. Whereas when we go back in time, we look at movies from decades ago even, it was very rare outside of the people like Arnold or, there was a handful of the big stars out there. But the average movie person was not some massive ripped individual. And so the standard and what people think is normal has shifted dramatically, and the fitness industry has made this a lot worse. And so what you've got to keep in mind if you are someone who is trying to get fitter, trying to get healthier, that you've really got to decide why you're doing it. And if you're doing it purely for visual reasons, not to say there's anything necessarily wrong with that, but you have to understand what is truly possible versus what you're being sold as being possible. Because what you've been sold as being possible is quite likely something that's only achievable with the use of steroids. And if you're not willing to take that, and if you're not willing to go down that path, then you have to adjust your expectations. And if you are someone who's doing it primarily for health, then these things aren't going to be beneficial for your health, unless you're, in a very specific situation where you may need testosterone replacement. These things are never going to be ideal or, beneficial for your health. So that's most of today's video, really. Just wanted to talk about that issue as I see it coming up again and again. If you have any comments or questions regarding this topic or any others, make sure you let me know so I can make a video about it as well. I'll talk to you in the next one.